This is something that I've talked to you about before. This is vibration technology. And I've told you to go out to Brookstone in West Hartford at the West Farms and get on their vibration platform. It's called iPlatform, I think. PowerPlate. PowerPlate is the one at Brookstone. And what it does is it sends a buzz into you, and something about that makes your muscles flex. And this was a study that showed that 15 minutes a day done at the State University of New York at Stony Brook. And what they did is they put mice on this vibrating platform for 15 minutes, 5 days a week, and they had 27% less fat. I had one. Mine was not terribly expensive, and it doesn't seem to be holding up well. But the more expensive ones, I think, would hold up well, and you can certainly go check out that good PowerPlate at Brookstone in West Farms. Spinal stabilization program may be the most effective for low back problems, and that has to do with functionally progressive exercises are more effective than, it says, manual therapy. And I would presume that's chiropractic, but there is a time and place for chiropractic therapy, for physical therapy in the treatment of back pain. Now this, I don't find exercise to be that complicated of an issue. It's pretty straightforward. Go to any of the there is an exercise studio right in that central parking lot off LaSalle that's been there 100 years, and those people are excellent. Go there, and our cameraman Brad is telling me that he goes there, so there's your own testimonial. He was very enthusiastic about it. So I encourage you, Curves is right on LaSalle. Go do what you will do. Take a walk, ride your bike. Well, you shook your hand. It's gone? Oh, too bad for Curves. C'est la vie, c'est la guerre. All right. Many different ways to get exercise in. Whatever you will do is fine. As I said earlier, get yourself a treadmill, an exercise bike, the aerobic rider. That little ball that you can push on the floor is great exercise. I've had one of those, and they work great. Now, that'll do for exercise right now. Now I want to talk to you about standard conventional Western medications. I read an article today about diet pills, and it turns out they say that the danger, the cardiovascular danger, heart attack and stroke, risk from using diet pills is comparatively low. I just got it and took one look at it, but they did say they increase a lot of emergency room visits. Now what I'm going to tell you is most studies, unfortunately, are too short term. But they do have to report some conclusions, otherwise you'll never find anything out. I have a strong belief that the diet pills are all somewhat like speed, and therefore I think they kick the heart. And over time, if you take them long enough, I think they're going to hurt the heart. What proof do I have of that? If you just look at the structure of most of those things that have either stimulate the production of epinephrine or norepinephrine, or inhibit norepinephrine reuptake, or are in the ephedra type direction or the caffeine type direction, yerba mate, that kicks the heart. All these things are what are called thermogenic, which increase heat generation and therefore raise your temperature a little bit and burns those extra calories off. It is most important, obviously, not to take those kinds of things in the first place, then you don't have to burn them off. But yes, these things work, and yes, they do some good, but my prognosis is that over the long time, they're going to increase the risk of heart attack and stroke. I never, get that, never prescribe Claritin D. I never prescribe Actifed. I never prescribe Sudafed. All of those things are stimulants and kickers and can raise the blood pressure. And anything that raises blood pressure over time if used often enough, and you might say, well, I don't use them very often. Just doing it is not good. The more you do it, the more you increase your risk of heart attack and stroke, is my best guess. This talks about treating people with high blood pressure who are using Meridia for weight loss. And it says here what are called the ACE inhibitors, the lisinopril, monopril, Acion, ramipril, Altase. Those are some of the ACE inhibitors, but also the ARBs, the angiotensin receptor blockers like Benicar, Atacand, Micardis, Diovan. Those are more benign. As a matter of fact, they have side effects which are considered comparable to placebo, which means if you took a sugar pill or a starch pill, you'd have a certain number of complaints, people thinking they got the real thing. Well, that's what these ACE and ARBs are like, the Benicar. They have very low side effect profile, and they are actually very safe to use. I recommend them. The literature is sufficiently clear to me, and I have that information in here, that you actually, let's see what the next article is. Here is an article that said you're less likely to develop diabetes if you're taking one of those ARBs, the Benicar, Atacand, Micardis, and so on. And I believe that the ARBs are a better choice than the ACEs. The ACEs, however, are now generic. And so your HMOs are forcing you in that direction and forcing me in that direction. You have to understand that if I want to prescribe what I feel are the best pills out there, first of all, I have to get it cleared, and we've stopped doing that. It's so time-consuming that I'm not going to do that for my patients anymore. Maybe I would say, unless you'll pay me $50, because I think that or $25. That's what it's got to cost me in secretarial time. And what's more, I'm not going to do it for $25 either, because that takes my secretary away from the things that she's supposed to be doing. So not only does it take up her time, but it takes away from the things that we're supposed to be doing in the office.